Everyone. Welcome to the ADLINK and NVIDIA podcast. This is where we explore the medical AI market trend. I'm your host, Jacky, and I'm thrilled to be bringing you this episode. We have David Niewolny with us today. David is NVIDIA's Director of Business Development for Healthcare and the medical market. He has over 18 years of experience building and leading healthcare-focused business within AWS, real-time innovations, NXP, and Freescale Semiconductor. In this recording, we will discuss technology trends in medical AI, robotic, digital surgery, security and compliance concern, and as well as the interoperability and regulatory challenges. We'll hear that from David. And whether you are a seasoned expert or new to the world of medical AI, we hope you will find our discussion informative. So, good morning, David. How are you?
Thank you so much, Jacky, and the entire customer base and community that we have surrounding our medical business. It's great to be here and really look forward to talking a little bit more with you guys about some of the trends that we're seeing in the medical space.
David, so I know we are here today and with your strong background in the medical AI robotic space, could you share with us and your insight and from your personal experience in dealing in the medical AI robotic surgery in terms of the current trend that the market is going, um, and how are this technology transforming the field of surgery?
Perfect. Well, thanks again for the opportunity. So, first and foremost, I think one of the biggest areas for growth in the medical space, and we're seeing it each and every day, is in the area of what we're calling digital surgery, which largely encompasses medical robotics, some of the OR integration activities, endoscopy, laparoscopy type procedures, where we're actually adding artificial intelligence to a lot of these surgical procedures. So first and foremost, it's one of those things that, again, size and scale of the market. I mean, over 300 million surgeries are performed globally each and every year. And just to give you an idea, in the last 10 years, the percentage of those surgeries that was performed by some form of robot-assisted surgery has gone from under 1% to over 15%. So you're seeing a significant increase in the amount of robotic assisted surgeries, and really it's becoming more and more popular due to the minimally invasive options that it offers. And with those minimally invasive options, you now have streaming video being captured, and with that streaming video being captured, you're now seeing a lot of trends to add artificial intelligence and other navigation techniques to these robotic procedures. So just, in general, surgeons are able to perform procedures with much greater precision, much greater accuracy, which generally results in less pain and fewer complications. So because those patient outcomes are looking so good, you're seeing more and more of these products being deployed. And as you can imagine, these are exceptionally complex medical devices. So medical robotics is definitely, one of the key areas. And then, looking at that, I touched briefly just on the fact that we're actually adding more data analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence to these products. So, doing things like, tool tracking, navigation, different organ segmentations. So basically just providing, I'd say almost like a set of superpowers to the surgeon. So in addition to having that increased dexterity that they're getting from a robot, they're also able to increase the vision that they're having and overlay multiple essentially images onto one, which really is up leveling the level of all surgeons. So not only do you take the best surgeons and make them better, but I think for all of us, you take some of the unfortunately lower performing surgeons and up their general level of skill, which increases patient outcomes across the board. And then I also think another trend to keep in mind, which aligns with a lot of what you're seeing from an NVIDIA technology perspective, is this integration of virtual augmented reality, and then even moving into simulation. So, with that, you can actually begin training surgeons on these robotic tools in a simulated environment. So the first time that a surgeon is performing a procedure, no longer is it actually on a person. It's actually in a fully simulated physics realistic model where someone is actually performing that surgery on what is essentially is a digital twin. And from an NVIDIA perspective, you've probably heard of some key products from us in terms of our Omniverse product offering, which really helps collaborate and create these simulated environments, digital twins for this particular market. And then, another component that I want to highlight just from an NVIDIA perspective is really our focus on Edge and Edge AI. Our HoloScan platform, which consists of our HoloScan software along with a product called IGX from a hardware perspective, which I know you guys at ADLINK are doing a great job in terms of commercializing this and bringing a medical grade platform to market. But we're seeing each and every one of these medical robotic systems, endoscopy systems, OR integration suites, integrating these edge AI components to be able to bring real-time AI skills and applications to some of these surgical video applications. So a lot of things going on in the digital surgery space. And again, just quickly summarize. I mean, you're seeing more robots. You're seeing the addition of AI. You're seeing this integration of virtual and augmented reality, and just more and more use of the data that is coming from these devices. So exciting time to be in the OR.
So David, so speaking on the medical AI, so we also oftentimes that we hear about the things related to security and compliance. And could you share with us, in your point of view, what measures the medical market and to allow and ensure the security and compliance, with the proof point and that currently exists that we can demonstrate the effectiveness of these measures?
Fantastic. Thanks again, Jackie. Another great question. Really, the way I kind of group these, it's, safety, security, and compliance. And really all of those things kind of come together and need to be addressed when you're talking about a medical grade or medical device type product. The first thing is every one of these products does have globally a regulatory compliance procedure that they need to go through, whether that be the FDA in the United States, or there's a number of other regulatory agencies, generally per region or per country. Many of them standardize on some of the same sort of standards that the FDA uses. But yeah, high regulatory, I'd say, compliance requires companies to really consider safety, security, and the effectiveness of those particular products. So first and foremost, I'm just going to look at the safety of the device, and largely that's encapsulated and captured in IEC 60601, which is really specifically around the hardware design and the standards that are needed to comply from a medical device and safety and security standpoint. And that is something that, when we designed, the Edge product that I spoke about earlier, the HoloScan and IGX platform that ADLINK is taking and adopting and bringing into a medical grade AI edge computing system, that is going to be IEC 60601 compliant. So it makes it easy for device manufacturers to essentially take this edge AI compute system and integrate it into their system, knowing that regulatory thought process has already been put into place. I guess another piece that I want to address is more and more of these medical devices are really being driven by software, to the point of, in the future, we want to get them to be actually software defined. And the fact that you have more and more software, not just embedded software, but application software living on these products, you really need to make sure that you're taking the right amount of safety, security, and compliance measures in your software process as well. So IEC does have a standard called IEC 62304, which really regulates and dictates how exactly you create a safe process for developing software for medical devices. And that's something that from an NVIDIA perspective, we took to heart as we were building our Edge AI platform, the fact that you have IEC 62304 compliant software and documentation that we can now, again, provide to our end customers when they're building their entire platform. They can then provide that documentation to the regulatory agency, and that does give them peace of mind that the software and the hardware that they're taking is safe, secure, and compliant. And the last piece I want to hit on is cybersecurity. So all of these devices, in order to move into a software-defined future, which is something that ourselves, along with ADLINK and our entire customer base, are trying to evolve and define. These devices are going to be connected to the internet, not just an internal network, but also an external network, and that's really what allows you to update, upgrade, and continually innovate at a faster pace. And that's something that, specifically from the FDA standpoint, they're working very, very closely with the industry to make sure that we're setting the right amount of safety and security standards for that. And, I think ourselves, as well as the rest of the industry, will continue to work with them and give them guidance to ensure that as you're, updating these devices, that they are safe and secure from cyber attacks as we connect more of them to the internet.
Got it. Got it. Thank you, David. And now the FDA has defined compliance standard, and thank you for being very clear on that. So, David, I think that's a really good segue to the next topic here. So you had mentioned about software-defined security, and are you actually seeing any interoperability challenges there that we are facing today in the medical market? And what solution have been developed to address those challenges?
Again, Jacky, another really great question. In some ways, the questions we've had today around robotics and integration of AI, one of the, I'd say, biggest inhibitors to really leveraging the massive amounts of data coming from a lot of these medical devices is interoperability. One of the stats that we have is 30% of the world's data is generated from medical devices, and that's growing, I think, at 36% a year. So huge amount of data. But one of the key pieces is you need standardized data. And right now, there's really no single standard for medical device interoperability at both a syntactic and semantic level. The good news is I think there's a lot of work going on in that space, specifically in the semantic level. You have HL7, Fire, DICOM, but you really need something to also give that context. And that's something that right now is being done essentially by each individual organization who's creating these medical devices. But I do see in the future, the medical device community will begin building larger scale platforms. And with these larger scale platforms, standards will essentially begin evolving, and ecosystems will begin evolving. And it's really one of the benefits of introducing platforms to markets is you do get to be the center of the ecosystem, build out that syntactic and semantic data model that now all of the rest of the devices and software as a medical device can connect into. So that's really the vision I see in the future. And we're kind of in the early days of, we do have some standards like Fire, HL7, and DICOM for certain data sets. But the next level will be really the development of these kind of cloud to edge AI platforms, intelligent medical device platforms that will evolve and begin creating ecosystems around them. And I think you're going to start seeing some standardization from that standpoint.
Got it. Thank you, David. So, David, a follow-up question to that. Are you seeing any regulatory challenges, and how are they affecting the patients, healthcare provider, and the industry stakeholders right now?
Well, I would say probably the biggest regulatory challenge for the entire industry is moving forward. How are we going to work in a world where medical devices do become software defined? So, I mean, I think, historically, medical devices have largely been, a hardware component. Software is continually updated. Potentially you might have AI skills added to that. But I do see a future where these medical devices end up being, much more of a sensor type application. And really, a lot of the intelligence that's, coming on these devices is put in something that you'd almost call a general purpose compute platform or an edge AI general purpose compute platform, where you essentially have a secondary device that is designed to do nothing more than that artificial intelligence. And again, these would be network connected to the internet, where new AI applications can be uploaded, downloaded, and deployed on a much more regular basis. And this is the type of thing that we've seen, a couple times before. I mean, in the establishment of the PC market, you basically had a standard platform, which was, an Intel-based computing platform, as well as a Windows operating system, and a whole market emerged in terms of software. We've seen the same thing now with mobile phones and the establishment of a platform, and one that is, I think, right on the front edge of this. And Tesla kind of showed us you can do this with an automobile and actually have the idea of a software-defined car. And now I think you're going to start to see a number of other markets going down this exact same path of software-defined. And I will say, when you're in that specific world of software-defined, it is a new world, and the regulatory agencies are going to need to evolve and react. And know that from an NVIDIA perspective, we will, kind of continue working closely along with our customers to help shape that, to ensure both, the safety and security and reliability of these devices as we move into this software-defined world.
Got it, David. So a lot of good sharing again. Once again, David, thank you so much. And David, so I wanted to wrap up for today's section. And with that, I hope everybody that's listening to this, you all enjoy our discussion on medical AI technology trend topic today. And I would like to take this moment to thank our amazing panel speaker, David, and your insight and expertise were invaluable to our panel discussion today. We really appreciate your time and your dedication in making today's podcast successful. If you have any questions or comments about today's episode, feel free to reach out to us on adlinktech.com, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast for future episodes and updates. Thanks again to our panel speaker, David, and to all of our listeners for tuning in. Until next time, goodbye.